Good morning, sir. You're mute.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
It's extremely cold in Nairobi.
I know, it's really cold.
Itabidi tuhame.
Kuhama hakuna. Itabidi tumezoea.
I think July was asleep and it just woke up in August.
Yeah,
It,
apparently so.
it remembered, oh, I was supposed to be cold.
Apparently so. It rained in July instead of being cold in July.
Yes.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
The grace is sufficient. We can't complain.
Mm,
And congratulations for putting the spirit. It's not easy
yeah.
to keep pushing,
Mm.
even when sometimes it feels you're alone.
God, yeah, I'm a little bit used to that right now. But I just felt like I'm being stagnant for quite a while, and I decided to
Mm,
just start from wherever I can be able to start. Uh,
mm, mm.
yeah. So before we go on, I just wanted to let you know that I'm recording this so that I can share it
Yes,
with others later. But I would like your consent if that's okay.
no problem.
All right, thank you. So I am going to not take much of your time. I'm just going to go straight to it. So
Yes.
if you'd please tell us what your career is and your journey to where you've gotten to so far.
Well, my name first is Goran Kachola. Many people refer to me as Ambassador Kachola due to my background in diplomacy
Mm,
and the constant contribution to the diplomatic discourse in and out of the country.
mm-hmm,
Now, I began as a journalist.
mm,
I went to Daystar University
okay.
due to fee challenges. The day I opted out of Daystar at year two
Mm,
is the same day I got internship opportunity at MediaMax, then K24.
mm,
So that was way back in 2013. So I worked at K24 as an intern, finished, then got into what we would call as volunteer
mm,
for another 1 year. Uh, then I got employed there. Now, during that time, all of you will remember there was intense war in South Sudan.
mm,
And maybe I look like them. So we got too close to,
mm. Yeah.
we got too close to some of them. And anything South Sudan back then in the newsroom was left to Gordon.
Uh,
So, what is going on in South Sudan? What did the SPLM-IO say? What did the SPLM in government say? What are the peace negotiations going on? Who did what? In which region? What is not going on? So, all those things. So, it even reached a point where when the embassy needed to know something about uh, what is going on politically in Kenya as far as South Sudan is concerned, they would
mm,
call me, hey,
mm,
Gordon, what is Kenya saying in regards to South Sudan?
mm,
Or what have you heard so far that is going on in South Sudan that we do not know? So I got so much close to South Sudan politicians, diplomats, to a point where when the president visited, I was called to the embassy to go and meet the president. When Riek Machar came to Kenya, uh, we, had, we had a meeting. So I got so close to South Sudanese politicians and diplomats. And that is where now my interest in diplomacy checked in. Initially, it wasn't something that I had a lot of interest in. I knew there were ambassadors. I didn't even bother to know what is going on here and where. But having been a historian back then in high school, as one of the best subjects that I undertook in high school, I knew a lot about world politics and regional politics and all that. So eventually, by 2016, I decided to go back to class to study diplomacy, just to understand what is this diplomacy. What does it take for someone to negotiate for peace? What does it take for someone to become an ambassador, a diplomat? So I went back to UON now, where I began my undergrad again afresh. After 2 years in the East, I came back to University of Nairobi and began afresh now on diplomacy and international studies at EDIS department. Then I pursued and finished, graduated in 2019. 2020, COVID came, we all lost jobs, but decided to go back to class at the same time to pursue masters in the same department again. Now, when I began my master's, doors began opening because now, one, my reasoning, my contribution in the spaces around diplomacy began to expand, began to become grounded. And that is how I got myself into various even consultancies in terms of diplomacy. I got very close to Somaliland liaison office in Nairobi. I got close to other regional missions in the country. So that has been the journey. Then after master's, I decided again to go back to pursue my PhD in the same area, in the same university. So it has just been a journey on one path. So yes, I didn't want to run left, right, and center, do many things. So I just took one particular path and stayed on it this long. So that has been me. For now, as we speak, I'm the CEO of One Stop Development Agency, a non-governmental organization that deals in climate change. And as you know, even as diplomats today, whenever they meet, if they're not speaking about peace, then speaking about climate change. Climate change is the big thing. Yeah, so it is an area that we are working on as an organization in the ASALS region, and that does not mean that we do not have our contribution to other parts of the country and continental at large. So far, that is where we are.
All right. Thank you so much. So just to quickly go back on what you're saying, if I would gather correctly, if that your trajectory has been improved by specificity, like taking one path and just being constant with it. Because initially, I think speaking as a student and also somebody who is working as well, one of the things that I think we have been misled is that you have to be is it a mislead really? I'm not really sure. I don't want to I don't want to put it out there like that. But one thing that I think people don't really do is stick to one career path. Many people, you do maybe, for example, a degree in one, and then when you're doing your master's, you go to another one, and you take something totally different in your PhD, so that you're a little diverse and everything. So, what's your take on that?
Then you become a master of what? When you do your degree in water, you do your masters in let's say rocks, then you do your PhD in human leg. So you're a master of what? It's something that is I want to believe if you want to become a true professional, if you want to become a guru in something, master that thing. Just ensure that you are well grounded. That does not mean you cannot study other areas. For example, one thing I didn't mention to you is that I looked around the diplomacy. What are some of the most discussed issues around the diplomacy today?
Mm.
You, it's peace, it's conflict, it is
Climate change.
climate change, it is immigration, refugee issues. So those are things that are discussed in the diplomatic space.
Mm.
So how then, if I'm just in one line, how then do I get to understand these other areas that are having a connection to what I've studied? So number one, uh, you have to open up. You have to be someone who can read widely.
Mm-hmm.
Two, if you can, and if you have some little resources, just invest in another course. For example, I'm a student of immigration studies at the University of Nairobi again. I just want to understand, how does refugee issues work?
Mm-hmm.
How is it that refugee issues is becoming such a big thing now in the continent and even globally?
Mm-hmm.
And this refugee issue, is it interlinked with climate change in one way or another, or is it interlinked with war, peace, and security? So even as we speak, I have a letter offer from SOAS,
Mm-hmm.
University in London. If God gives me opportunity and resources, I will join and pursue climate change as another master's, because I just need to understand and deeply appreciate, how does climate change contribute to the world we live in? How does it contribute to the diplomatic space? How does refugee issues contribute to the diplomatic space, and vice versa? So you can stay in one line, pursue it, become an expert in that particular line, but that does not stop you from also pursuing other areas that will have immense contribution to what you are pursuing.
Okay. And I have known you as a lecturer before I knew you as a political analyst. So I would just like to ask, as both a lecturer and somebody who already is pursuing the career, what do you think is one of the most misconceptions that students that are pursuing career in international relations, political science, diplomacy, what is the major misconception that most students usually have? And what is your thought on the same? And how could you advise accordingly on the same also?
I don't want to call it misconception. I want to call it, what do I even call it? I, I want to I want to call it uh, being ignorant of, not in a bad way, but not knowing some of the details in the profession,
Mm.
which of course I think it is time they are brought to speed in this area. Yes, I am an adjunct lecturer at the Jaramogi Odinga University, lecturing in the area of international relations in that university. Well, you see, this particular area, it's an area that needs someone who is very, very agile,
Mm-hmm.
someone who is up to date with and has interest on what's going on globally. It doesn't need someone who sits down and think tomorrow bread will come to the table. No. In the diplomatic space, you must be seen to be knowing what you are doing, or you must be seen to be knowing what you are up to.
Mm-hmm.
Because you ask many students, so what do you want to do after your studies? I want to work with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I want to work with the UN. I want to work with AU. Does it only stop there?
Mm-hmm.
No. Do they know about the think tanks and some of the institutions that they can work with? Most of them do not know about even think tanks, even organizations that work in the diplomatic space.
True.
So it is something that students must be must be brought to speed with so that they get to not only to appreciate, but also to realize that what they're studying, there is more to it than just going to work with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, going to work to become an ambassador, going to work with AU, UN, and the big organizations that they know of.
Mm.
So I think I would really challenge, and more so, I don't know whether to pity or to what is the exact word, but look, there are those universities that are back in the villages,
Mm.
universities that are simply out of Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
Nairobi is the capital, has everything.
Mm.
Almost everything is in Nairobi, diplomatically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have a university in Garissa, like Garissa University, for example, teaching international relations. A student there, maybe a student from Garissa, studied in Garissa primary, went to Garissa Boys or Girls Secondary, then went to Garissa University. They're now studying IR. Then what picture do they have, the true picture of what it means to be in the diplomatic space? Have they even toured an embassy just to see how an embassy operates, interact with an ambassador? So diplomatic studies needs uh, one needs to be hands-on. You need to interact with the tools of diplomacy nearly almost on a daily basis, if not weekly basis, so that you get to appreciate and also understand what space you are exactly in.
Yeah. So also on the same, when you're saying about the people who are doing international relations, right? Because of, not because of, but they still lack exposure. Maybe it's because they got to think, or somebody told them or directed them towards the same career. So this actually brings the question of passion and income in terms of international relations. I have had many say that I am just doing this course because, well, I need the money. It's not a bad thing, also. We all need it. But I feel like when you are doing international relations, I feel that if I have, with everyone that I have followed their journey, the people who are into diplomacy and everything, I think passion is quite key when it comes to matters diplomacy and international relations. But I think if you could, from somebody who already has some experience, if you could at least enlighten us a little bit about the same and why it is very important for passion when you are pursuing international relations and matters diplomacy, and then let every other thing follow back.
Now, you're very right. While we were at undergrad, we were over 100 students
Mm.
doing diplomacy and international studies at the University of Nairobi.
Mm.
I think only four of us proceeded to do their masters. Were they four or three? Myself, yes, four of us proceeded to do masters out of 100 plus. Then two of us proceeded to do their PhD. Now you see the number is reducing.
Reducing, yeah.
But of all these 100 plus students who we did diplomacy, international relations with,
Mm.
I think apart from maybe one who was already working with a UN body,
Mm-hmm.
then another one who was already working with another refugee organization.
Mm-hmm.
So those two, the rest, no one is again into the space of diplomacy. No one is talking diplomacy anymore.
Mm.
Many of them, unfortunately, many of them have they are doing their personal businesses, they are running their own things. things that are very unrelated to international relations or unrelated to diplomacy and international studies completely. So they've just diverted. And you ask yourself, if someone today is into insurance, why would they have just studied insurance?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a college of insurance here in Kenya. They would be gurus in that particular area. But here they paid over 700, by then it was around 760,000 for a degree program. They paid over 760,000 for a degree program, and they're never into that space again. So diplomacy, the course in itself, if you are into it, or IR or IS, international studies or international relations, depending with which university you are in, it needs passion, nothing else. And I think the best passion that it needs is that passion of Willis Ochieng. It's called Willis Ochieng, yes, the lawyer, picky ponky lawyer, you know. When he talks with passion.
Yeah.
And I've heard him speak about passion and what passion can do. So basically, this course needs passion. If you have zero passion for it, if you have no push, if you have nothing that can keep you awake past midnight, just for the reasons of this course, just don't go into it, because you'll go into it, study it for 4 years, pay close to $1 million. Then after that, you will begin selling mandazi. Not because you need to sell mandazi, but because you lack passion for it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. And another thing that also I think worries sometimes is postgraduate. And when now you are looking for jobs and everything, and right now the major thing that goes around for the students who do international relations, or the scare we get, is most of us being told that if you don't have connections, the diplomacy and international relations as a career needs connections. What is your thought on that before I give you a little bit of my thought on the same?
Well, I have an experience in that, and I will share my experience. After my degree, I applied for internship in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I did not get the opportunity. I applied later on when I was doing my master's and almost finishing. I applied as a cadet. I did not get the opportunity. And I can tell you, there are people who had just done their first degree and got the opportunity. People who were connected got the opportunity as cadets, as interns. So it is true, the diplomatic space in Kenya has been made to be a club of the elite. So having had that experience, what did I do? Number one, I decided to come up with a law. So I crafted, I did my research, and then decided, now let me look for a member of parliament who can take this to parliament to become a bill, as a bill, then to become a law. So I got Jeremiah Kioni, who I shared, by then he was an MP, I shared my idea with. He took it up and took it to parliament. Though it did not, the law was watered down in many ways, but at least it was a step towards the right direction. As we speak today, the Foreign Policy Session of Paper Number 1 adopted some of my contribution into that. And what did I put in that contribution? Number one, we must professionalize foreign policy and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs by ensuring that we have anyone appointed as an ambassador or consul general or whatever, anyone in that space, there must be 70% professionals, pure.
Sure.
Then 30% political. Now, that has been adopted in the session of paper number 1, 2025, Foreign Policy Session of paper number 1. That is not enough.
Mhm.
Because it is not aligned with what is in the Foreign Service Act 2021, which was my idea to Parliament. I've been in constant communication with the committee, the Departmental Committee on Defense, Foreign Relations, Intelligence, to review that law and have that act reviewed to an extent where we have at least people like Ebenezer who are in this space, who wants to go to foreign service, can transition without knowing someone in the ministry. How? Foreign Service Act 2021, which I'm talking about, created what we call a Foreign Service Academy. So this Foreign Service Academy, what it should do, not what it is doing now, what it should do, and that is still the push I'm having with the Parliament, it should accommodate all students from universities and colleges with particular degrees, because foreign service does not just take diplomats alone. There are accountants in that, there are teachers, there are various areas. So let the academy absorb people who have who have interest in foreign service, then train them for 2 years, a postgraduate diploma in now real rigors of diplomacy, train them. Then from there, that's when you can now qualify to go into foreign service. That is the push I'm still having with Parliament. I hope the departmental committee in charge will take up this, plus the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other stakeholders. We've been having conversation even with former ambassadors. Sometimes we do memorandums to the committee, to the ministry. We are having a push. It's not simple, it's not easy, but I want to ensure that at least my daughter, my son will not experience what I experienced because I did not have a godfather in that ministry.
Yeah, because I think just like any other job, in my opinion, there should be interviews and there should be checklists on the same of anyone who is being appointed or nominated for the or elected in that case for that
Yeah.
that space. You have talked about 30%, 70%, and 30% political. Now, that brings me to another question. Does diplomacy and anything regarding international relations, does it all have to be political?
Well, why 30% political? Because the appointing authority is the head of state. Now, when the head of state make appointments, sometimes the reality on the ground is these appointments have been largely political. So how do we depoliticize these appointments? We begin by going professional, at least bit by bit. Maybe after 10, 20 years, or even 30 years, the law will change and we say, now let us have only 20% political. As more people become professionals, let us have 80%, 90% professional, 10% political, to such a time with time when it shall completely be all professional. If you look at a country like America, for example, the United States, they have 70%, and that is why I borrowed the 70%. They have 70% professional, 35% political. And these political appointees it doesn't mean that there are people who have no knowledge about diplomacy. It could be a politician who has a lot of knowledge about economics, and there is an appointment in the diplomatic space that only needs someone with a wealth of knowledge in economics to handle. So those are the people who can. It's not like there are people who have zero brains now being appointed. No, there are people who are not necessarily diplomats, but have a wealth of knowledge in a particular area that is needed at that time in a particular field, in a particular area of appointment.
Mhm. That's okay. So I think we're also a little bit running out of time. So I'll just ask one more question about Majid so that we can conclude. So what I'm also trying to do is try to engage the youth in.
I'm losing you.
Can you get me? You get me now?
Yes, yes.
Sorry, I think it's the internet. So how do you think, just shortly?
You're hanging.
Oh, God.
You are hanging.
It's internet. Can you get me?
Yes.
You can hear me now?
Mm.
So, how do you think young people can position themselves meaningfully to contribute to national and global politics and policy discussions? That is one of the things that I'm trying to engage the young people in.
Well, various people have various ways of positioning themselves.
Mm.
There is no manual book of one positioning themselves. You've seen even lately in Kenya, others position themselves as activists in the streets, and they are now dining with the high and mighty in the country.
Yeah.
Others have been positioning themselves in the boardrooms, and they are now well placed.
Mm,
Others have positioned themselves as student leaders, and they
mm,
are well placed now.
mhm,
So there's no particular manual book or handbook of self positioning. But one thing for sure is we must all get the required education.
yeah.
You need the required knowledge, such that when people are talking about matters diplomacy, matters policy, what is your contribution to that?
Yeah.
You can't be in a boardroom, you can't be in a meeting where the discussion is around uh, migration and refugees. And for example, Shreka Plan is now coming up, something very big in Kenya and globally.
Mm,
Shreka Plan, and you have no clue about it.
mm,
No, we must have the necessary education.
mhm,
Then, once you have the necessary education, get engaged in discourses,
mm,
because that is the only way people will not, even leaders will notice that there is a brain somewhere there. If
mm,
you don't get engaged in discourse, nobody will know about you. Even if you're speaking to just an individual every day, just to speak to that individual.
mm,
Even when you are speaking and nobody notices what you are doing, just do it. I want to tell you, when I began contributing in the space of diplomacy, for example, I used to write a lot about this thing. I just post on my Facebook page. I didn't care whether it is one like, whether it is nobody reads, nobody comments. I didn't care. But people used to read this, people used to identify with it, and now anything happens, be it in Afghanistan, be it where, and people come to my inbox. What's your thought here? People begin tagging me. What is happening here? What's your thought? What is the next move here? What is
mm,
the diplomatic implications for Kenya on this and that? That is the way you get involved and the way you get to be noticed out there. Because if you don't speak about something you know, who will
mhm.
know that Ebenezer truly knows something?
Yes, yeah. All right. So as we close, thank you so much. But before we go, may you please tell us, because I know every great person who is achieving something out there always has a guiding principle. So maybe you can share with us a guiding principle that has taken you so far, and maybe others can check on it. Maybe it can work on one person who will be listening this. So maybe you can tell us that.
Uh, I only believe in one manual.
Yeah.
The rest people can find for themselves, but
Mhm,
there's just one manual.
mhm,
Discipline,
mhm,
hard work,
mhm,
and the fear of God. Now you can take them the reverse. Fear
mhm,
of God, hard
mhm,
work, and the
mhm,
discipline. If you believe in God,
mhm,
just always trust God for good things on your way.
Mm.
But even as you trust God, you can't trust God and sit back to wait. Because even God says in the Bible that for those who do not work, they should not do what?
Do not
They
eat.
should not eat.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not like literally, if you don't work, you don't eat. Yes, if you don't work, you may not find what to eat. But how will you move to the next level if you don't do something? Then discipline is key.
Yeah.
You have to have that discipline. Discipline here is, let me put it like this. When you are alone in your house and there is sugar you want to put in your cup of tea, do you use 2 spoons or 5 spoons?
Mhm.
And now when you go to a restaurant, if in your house you use 2 spoons, then in a restaurant, why do you have to use five
Right.
spoons?
Yeah.
So, so that is lack of discipline.
Mm.
Discipline is simply doing the same thing in public and private,
Yeah.
saying the same thing in public and private, saying it to yourself and saying it to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for taking your time and joining me today. You're my first interview, so this should mean something. And I'm really hoping that in less than not long, I will try and arrange for like something like a webinar, something that others could also join and ask questions and you can interact with them. But so far, so good. I am so grateful for joining us today. And I truly appreciate your contribution. And I hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much. And I must commend you for a job well done because it's like you've been a lone voice in this, and that is the consistency I speak about.
Mm.
Even when you are just one person, you are consistent on something. Just keep at it. Yes, somebody somewhere will notice you want someone who can do about, you can say something on this area, or you want someone who can work on this particular thing. Yes, look for Ebenezer because they have been seeing you in silence, they have been watching you in silence, they have been listening to you, and they don't speak. They're just in the listening post. It's you're doing an amazing job, and kudos to that.
Thank you so much, sir.
Asante sana.
All right, thank you. Have a blessed day.
You too.